Page 7, the clock. At the top of the page, they're introducing a new note for the bass clef part of the lower staff, and that is a C. This is the C below middle C. This is a C, middle C, and you go down to the next C is this C. It's the next to the lower middle space there, and it's up to you to just memorize that note, because we're going to be adding a lot more notes now for you to memorize, so please stay up with the names of these notes. And it is C. As far as which finger you play it, it depends on where your hand is at the time. Any finger might play it, so we'll get to that later. Let's talk about clock. Look it over. I see it's a page and a half long. Treble and bass clef, 4/4 time signature. We got quarter notes, half notes, and whole notes. And we got our new note C on there too. I just noticed an error in the music, or I consider it an error. It's in the previous page 2 in the previous video, and I didn't mention it. I didn't notice it at the time. Shame on me. And that is, at the end of the piece, they put in a double bar line. See the two little thin bar lines? No. That should be a thin and thick bar line, not two thin bar lines. So if you want, take that second bar line and make it a thick one, because it should be thin and thick. The same on page 6. That last, at the end of the bottom line, that should be thin and thick, because that's a symbol for the end of the piece, and it's important to use it. It doesn't affect how you play it, but I still think the music should be printed correctly. However, let's talk about clock. Now, clock, it's pretty much one hand or the other playing. So I'm going to take both hands together. You're starting out third finger in the right hand here. Now put your hand here. And the left hand is thumb on middle C, so I put you in middle C position. And you immediately say, wait a minute, this new note isn't in this position. What's going on? Patience, I'll get there. Just hang on. We'll get there. Okay. And it's quarter notes. 1, 2. See, they're not the same notes. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. You get the idea? Now, the last 4 measures there where we got the new note. A couple of ways we can do this on this last 4 measures. We have a C in the left hand, but our hand position is here, and that C is not in it. It's down here. You have a bunch of rests in the music. You can, during those rests for the left hand, you can move the hand down so your little finger's on the C here. Anytime during any of those rests, it doesn't matter. I usually do it right before, because that's where I usually notice it. I got to move, so I come down here. That's one way of doing it. You may have to look down at the keyboard for that, because you're moving here, so you got to look down to see where you're moving. Another way of doing it is to simply stay where you are and you extend the hand. That means the hand goes bigger, bigger. Now, how much bigger a hand goes depends on the notes and the music and all. So we're here. If I want to cover that C, I got to extend the hand down to here. So I'm in this position where I'm only using these fingers. These other fingers aren't being used anymore. This is because this is my anchor. This is where I was, and this is my new note I'm using. So these are the 2 notes I'm using. Now, once I'm here, if I want, I can collapse the hand. It means come back together here. So I moved it this way because there's no more C's. If there were more C's later on in the book, then I'd stay here. But there isn't, so I can do this. The difference? Well, in this one case, you're moving the hand down. In the other case, you're moving the hand by a different technique for moving it. You're moving it, you're anchoring and feeling your way. You're crawling around on the keyboard. We do a lot of that in piano, and that's where feeling the keyboard comes in. You'll eventually feel this distance from letter to letter. It's an important distance. It's an important distance, and you'll eventually get that feeling of that distance because you're going to get it a lot. So you would eventually be able to feel how far to go down and know you're on the right note without looking. Here. And then once you're there, you can collapse, because if you don't need the note, stay relaxed. Well, this has a little bit of tension because your hand naturally wants to go here. So once you're here, then relax and bring it down. So you're here to here. So I simply extend to allow me to move without looking at the keyboard. I feel my way around the keyboard. That's all it's doing, here to here. Where the other one, I'm moving, and sometimes you just have to move. You really need to practice both methods. I'll leave it up to you and your teacher as to how you do this. So the last 4 measures were here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so just staying down here in the left hand, 2, 4, there, for the ding-dongs there, okay. Pretty low ding-dongs, aren't they? So you go through and get the piece worked out, the notes and the rhythms and all that, no hesitations anywhere. And then we can think about the interpretation. Just natural accents here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. The left hand gets the beat. 1, 2, 3. That's where the left hand's playing. 1, 2, 3. So the left hand's going to get the accent. The right hand's in the background. Note's a little louder because it's on beat 3. 2, 3 here. And for the ding dongs, they're all accented because they're either on beats 1 or beat 3. Beat 1 or beat 3. Something like that. So think about the natural accents. And then if you want to try the phrasing, well, it's got words in it. To me, that's one thought. That's one sentence. So I would tend to want to connect that. And then the next sentence, that's another thought. And then the ding-dongs are doing their own thing. So if you want to try that, you lift up between the phrases. Lift up. Lift up. Just a little lift. It's like taking a breath. That's all. Now if you want to add in a little break for the commas, for the tick-tock, tick-tock, because it's got that. You can do that. Put a little silence between each note. But then connect this. Connect that one. And then lift up. And the second line, there's a comma after the first measure. We don't get tick-tocks here. Connect. Here you can lift up for the comma there if you want. There's different ways of interpreting the piece. Try these different ways out and see what you like. And go with that. For the ding-dongs, you'll probably separate them. Just a little silence between each ding-dong. You don't have to. You could connect them if you'd like. I'm just going with the commas and the periods down there to separate them a little bit. However, there's other ways of playing this, of interpreting it. You feel it. How do you feel it? Different speeds. How fast do you think it should go? Well, it's a clock. How fast does a clock go? Oh. Let's play this together very slowly and double check the notes and the rhythms. I am going to I'm going to lift up for the phrasing and the commas and all that. I'm going to lift up for those because I kind of like that effect. But really all we're doing is checking notes and rhythms. We're not performing it. So I'll give us 4 counts. 1, 2, ready, go. 2, 3, 4. 2, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Off.